Hello, welcome. You are with Dr. Sushma Singh. Today in Unit 13, Ecology, Environment and Development, we are going to start this lecture with the topic Environmental Concerns and Contemporary Social Theory. The more recent concern of the causes consequences of present ecological crises are significant to modern social theory. The relation between the human beings and nature and the deleterious effect of human action upon the latter is hitherto neglected area here emerged as a major issue. Another important issue in contemporary theory is the growth of environmental politics movements which pose a challenge to modern industrial capitalist mode of production and consumption, which are essentially environmentally destructive. Anthony Giddens in his later works attributes environmental problems to the modern industrial societies and industrial sectors in developing countries. Whatever the origin of the crisis, the modern industry shaped by the combination of science and technology is responsible for the greatest transformation of the world of nature than ever before. Ulrich Beck distinguishes the modern society from the earlier ones as the risk society characterized by its catastrophic potential resulting from environmental deterioration. In the pre-industrial societies, risk resulting from natural hazards occurred and by their very character could not be attributed to voluntary decision making. The nature of risk changed in the industrial societies. Industrial risk and accidents at work sites or dangers of unemployment resulting from the changes in the economic cycles could no longer be attributed to nature. These societies also developed institutions and methods to cope with the dangers and risk in the form of insurance, compensation, safety, etc. The risk societies are characterized by the increasing environmental degradation and environmental hazards. At the center lies the risk and consequences of modernization, which are revealed as irresistible threats to the life of plants, animals, and human beings. Unlike the factory-related or occupational hazards of 19th and first half of the 20th centuries, these can no longer be limited to certain localities or groups but rather exhibit a tendency to globalization. In the face of environmental risk and hazards of qualitatively different kind, both real and potential, earlier modes of coping with them also break down. Yet, when large-scale disasters like Chernobyl occur, protests do break out which challenge the legitimacy of state and other institutions that appear powerless to manage the problem. Giddens offers two explanations for the emergence of environmental politics as a response to the ecological threats and thus a politics mobilized by ideal values and moral imperatives. Ecological movements, he observes, compel us to confront those dimensions of modernity which have been hitherto neglected. Furthermore, they sensitize us of subtleties in the relationship between nature and human beings that would otherwise remain unexplored. Habermas sees the ecology movements as a response to the life word to its colonization, since they are an expression of the reunification of the communicative order of the life world. Further economic development or technical improvement in the administrative apparatus of government cannot alleviate these tensions. For Habermas, capitalism is the primary cause of environmental degradation. All these social theorists emphasize the need for democratization of state power and civil society. Giddens suggests that not just the impact but the very logic of unchecked scientific and technological development would have to be confronted if further harm is to be avoided. He argues that since the most consequential ecological issues are global, forms of interventions would necessarily have to be global basis. New forms of local, national, and international democracy may emerge and form an essential component of any politics that seeks to transcend the threats of modernity. Habermas, while recognizing the limitations of modern state power, argues for the creation and defense of a public sphere where rational democratic discourse can occur. Beck argues for an ecological democracy as the central political response to the danger of the risk society. Research agendas, development plans, and introduction of new technologies must be made open for discussion, and at the same time legal and institutional control on them must be made more effective. At the above, scholars point to the limitations of the predominantly representative rather than the participatory character of liberal democracy being an essential precondition for creating environmental sustainability. A sociological social science perspective in the analysis of environmental issues is still emerging. Responding to the demands of social reality, sociologists are just beginning to explore the many dimensions of environmental problems of our time. The ecological environmental perspective opens up the unexplored dimension of some of the important areas of sociological concerns. As powerful critic of the modernization development agenda, this perspective brings out the unsustainability of the project. The industrial capitalist mode of production and consumption destroys the very resource base necessary for its existence, but even more threatens human life itself. With the growth of ecological politics and movements, a new areas of sociological inquiry has opened up, which transcends the conventional dichotomy of the right and left politics that cuts across the class division and even national boundaries and creates spaces for activism within the civil society using the popular initiative. In a fundamental sense, it calls for a redefinition of the relation between the human beings and their natural environment and a reconsideration of the effect of human action upon nature. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.